place is not metal!
They say the internet never forgets, that anything you post can and will be archived. Well, if that were true, we wouldn't have the Lost Media Wiki. The subject of today's video actually scrubbed most of his internet presence after a bad animation. Unlike many videos that cover the topic of Mike and Melissa, I was able to find out a bit more about Michael and what he's been up to in recent years, even briefly chatting with someone who knew him, also offering a different perspective on the titular animated pilot. Hello, I'm Ryan. And this is Mike and Melissa. Mike and Melissa was a series created by Michael Chenoweth that involves a self-insert of, well, him, as well as a purple skunk named Melissa. Now, we'll get into the deletion of his channel very soon, but there are very few confirmed animation productions by him, such as PSA-style videos made between 2011 and 2014, so before and after the first official episode. Why no one decided to download any of these is beyond me, but points back to the internet usually forgetting things, cause one assumes someone else already has it. So if you like something, go download it now. However, you do at least know about one short. This would be Mike and Melissa Don't Do Work and Hang Out with a Squirrel instead. That animation in particular was screened at a film festival in December 2011 and won an award, an honorable mention. Another piece of somewhat lost content would be for his band Digital Pets. They collabed with another local band called Ducitility, and they would make the Def EP. While a lot of his lost, his collaborator Phil Booz would upload his half of the collaboration on their Bandcamp April 14th, 2022. Skipping forward to episode 22 of the series, not that there were that many episodes produced, but on his Facebook page for Dear Little Mammals TV, his production label, he posted a script as a Google Doc. It is said that Michael would write things out of order, and that there aren't necessarily 20 other scripts. In fact, in the Internet Archive, there were supposed scripts made by him, however they're unconfirmed as of today. Much like the apocryphal books of the Bible, it's up to you if they're canon or not to the tale of Mike. Of that canon would be the singular shot someone took of his Facebook page. Just one. It's a post for his UCLA portfolio, which seems to be a tongue-in-cheek art application to the college. Mike will be seen interacting with himself, or rather his OC, Melissa Muffet. Skunk. I point to this suggesting that some of the production is ironic. We'll get to more of that later in the video. Mike would also have a DVR accounts, but much like everything else, it wasn't archived. Now that we talked about some of the lost media, let's get to the main topic of this video, the pilot itself. I won't be diving into the entire plot, really making fun of it, because, well, there's hundreds of other videos already doing that. So I'm just gonna give it like a brief rundown of what happens. The pilot has a self-insert of Michael named Mike. Within the story, he's painted as someone who's unable to talk to women, is resentful of his ex-girlfriend, and seemingly hates his mundane or rather repetitive life. Even when attending his college classes for film, he's dissatisfied learning from his professor. And there are a lot of references of rectangles within rectangles that he keeps mentioning this. Short. The music that you hear throughout the pilot is actually created by him and his friends' bands. His friends even voiced in it, as was his professor. Yeah, his professor voices the professor character. Interesting.
This fucking rectangle is the best thing ever. Rectangle, 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 rectangle.
God, I hope the party at the mental house is fun.
Fun fact, a piece of art by him supposedly features his friends as furries. That's a pretty fun fact. Around halfway through, a purple skunk named Melissa greets him and says that she is a puka. Now, it's unclear if this is a figment of his imagination, or rather a character from folklore.
And, if you don't buy that, I'm a construct of your awesomely overactive imagination.
Oh my god, I've got insane!
A puka in Irish folklore is a mischievous spirit. They can take the form of something terrifying or pleasing in Mike's case. Also, just for a second, I love the picture that Wikipedia uses for it. Like, look at him. There he is. So if the series continued, I guess we'd see which one it is. As if Melissa turned out to be a trickster, leading Michael deeper into psychosis, that would be an interesting watch. The episode ends with them being together and they kiss. The animation is crude, but somewhat smooth. Producing this thing within 2.5 months, creating a 16-inch minute pilot is pretty wild, even if not greatly drawn. And thankfully, some of the animatic was saved, so we can make some educated guesses on how he made this. The animatic was seemingly drawn on note cards and drawn over in some sort of paint program. If this was Adobe Flash, the lines would be cleaner, not in the sense of line weights, but rather being a vector-based program. It's only been recently you can get drawing tablets as cheap as $17. And around the time production in the 2010s, Wacom was really the only tablet maker in the game. With Bamboo and Tuos, you'd be looking around $80 to even $229 per tablet. Oof. Bit much, you know what I mean? So one can assume he just used a mouse to draw a lot of his works. To me, that makes the 16-inch minute pilot more impressive. That even without proper art equipment, he still made this creation. Most likely exporting each frame to Premiere or Final Cut. I'm not sure what editing program he used. I'm sure if he used an actual animation program, it could look a lot better. As for the story, it's a bit lacking. We can see that Mike as a character is dissatisfied with life, but a lot of the scenes that he's in don't really motivate the story to move forward. If anything, they could have started with him already at the college, going to the party, then coming back home, rather than the intro bits where he's already at his house. And there wasn't really an inciting incident for Melissa to show up. Sure, there was the scene of him masturbating, but maybe if he got a bad grade or something, you know, something more emotional to bring her out. Though hindsight is 2020, and it's been like 10 years, I'm sure he already knows, like, what to fix. Though focusing on the pilot itself, we need to look at the outside in to understand why this became a spectacle, as there are many bad animations out there. Why would this one be so focused on? Well, let's get into that. But not before you like and subscribe and leave your comments on this video. Hope you're liking it so far.
Don't be on that train, asshole.
Just wanted to talk about myself!
Church of Purple Skunk is a YouTube channel that covers all that is Michael Chenoweth. In an unlisted video, they shed some light on how this animation became so popular. 10 years ago, Tumblr user Kauvian said this.
Imagine this. You're sitting in your animation history class. Your professor says that your classmate who sits 2 empty seats away from you is going to show you his animation. Joy! Then, projected 10 feet tall in glorious HD is an autobiographical piece about his life problems and his manic pixie dream girl purple skunk girlfriend, complete with fade to black sex and masturbation scene. Imagine that, and you will know a fraction of my pain.
And this is the main reason why this animation got so popular. The silly backstory. If this was just a piece created by himself and posted to the internet, yeah, it would be a bit weird, but to have it shown in front of a class makes it more interesting. This is mixed in with other elements of the production. Besides the fact it is badly drawn, the main character wears a shirt that says Mike the Hardcore and Awesome. He also wears some sort of hats or cut-off hoodie with ears. There's also how personal it was to his life. Being collared and such. Lastly, of course, the certain scenes of him masturbating as well as having sex with a skunk. This would lead many people to believe this is a true-to-life representation of his actual character put on the film. Or animation. Despite getting a lot of hate, Michael would joke that,
as for the haters and trolls out there, well, y'all just jealous that my girlfriend's hotter than yours, winky face.
Though this was posted on a Tumblr page, it is said that he kept changing the description of his cartoon. I would suppose that the hate got to him, as in 2014, Michael scrubbed most, if not all, of his internet presence on the internet. And with this came speculation and intrigue about his works. Within the video, I keep referring to the Mike and Melissa wiki, which attempts to chronicleize the life of Michael, while also joking about the creator. In the real life section, it claims he started a relationship with the fictional character in 2010. Under false rumors, some would include that Michael's classmates hated him, his mom voiced Melissa, or even that he's an incel. Starting with the first, his project was actually a collaboration between him and his friends. On an old Facebook post, it could be seen that one of his friends' bands, Algernon, would promote the animatic. People also being featured within the animation. The second part was just made up. His friend Veronica Long voiced the character. For the last one, as I mentioned before, with a little about his life outside the animation documented, most people assume the character of Mike within the cartoon is a one-to-one to the real Michael, mainly because it's much funnier. And with the creator leaving the internet, many would try and contact him to talk about or create more of the series. YouTuber Salty DK Dan would make a video on March 9, 2019. In this, with him and his friends, they would cover the animation and it would reach 2 million views. Wow, that's a lot. He would later post on Twitter the same year that he would personally fund episode 2 and 3, further stating that he has a special interest for the series. Michael would not respond. Though I did get in contact with his former professor, who had little to say on the matter. Within our brief email exchange, he noted that several people over the years tried asking about Michael, and that the attention to the old work is baffling to him. To most, this would be the end of the line, doing basic research and going,
I guess that's all he made.
What may surprise you is that this wasn't the end of his online creativity, like I said before. Around the time of Mike and Melissa, he'd run a channel with his friend that's basically a podcast. This would be the same Michael as referenced by wearing the Algernon shirt. For what we know, around 73 episodes would be made, with the first one being deleted, though some of the older ones would be re-uploaded. Watching some of these podcasts, you can see more of his character than the animation ever could show. Much akin to old Adult Swim in terms of vibes, the show consists of Mike and Phil in front of a green screen, making jokes and just having fun. There's terrible audio and editing, mostly on purpose, mixed in with appearances from his friends as part of musical segments and general skits.
But this time we got these lower seats. These lower seats are a little better for getting to the bottom of it, so we're lower. See,
more
we're thinking,
space for your mind
outside of the box.
blown, yeah.
Like watching these podcasts of Michael, you're like, he's fine. He's fine, I guess. Not the mythical character of Mike that people paint him as. And the duo would even make an appearance in the local network within their area. It's apparently a nice community thing where people can work with film equipment and learn how to make stuff.
There's not a whole lot of other places, like you said, that, or anywhere really, that, people can just, any citizen of, right, or any resident can come in and learn this stuff. So it's a very valuable
and for,
resource.
Free at that,
Right.
which is awesome. Like you get to play and learn for free, so.
Why the heck not?
It's very nice for Michael and Phil to support the community, something the fictional Mike would never do. Now, of course, whether you find their works funny is up to you, but after listening to the old podcast, it gives me an alternate theory about Mike and Melissa. Let's consider the following. Michael and his friends love making shitposts, so they decide to make a PSA series called Mike and Melissa, Michael Set the Draw, even though he can't really. It'd feature a fictionalized version of Michael who wants to have sex with a skunk with notably bad art on purpose. Everything from not taking time to draw proper squares for windows, to even how he interacts with the audience, the facade must not be broken. immersion. His point back to the Tumblr post where he said,
I'm glad that at least some people seem to get it and really enjoyed it.
noting that the pilot is extra credit for a class, think of Mike and his friends in this situation.
Hey guys, my teacher approved of our animation idea and said that whatever we make must be shown in front of the whole class to get extra points. So let's have Mike masturbate, have sex with a skunk, and piss a lot. It's gonna be so funny.
And so him and his friends would voice act as part of a joke, essentially making it shitty on purpose. I can imagine Michael sitting in class and turning the person behind him saying, refill your popcorn, you'll love this next part, as the scene where he masturbates. Now there is the case of deleting everything. This can either be adding mystery to the project, or just simply distancing himself from it. That the whole thing was a joke that people didn't get, but that deleting everything makes it seem like Mike, the fictional version, is a real person that got heated that people didn't like his self-insert cartoon. Though of course, this is just a thought exercise. And we don't know what the prompt was for the extra credit. I mean, it could have just been, make an art piece about your life, and that could explain why it's about himself. I do wish his professor was a bit more open, but I can understand how hesitant he would be for an interview. But on that note, if Michael was doing extra credits, other students probably did as well. So I don't think it was solely just his project and nothing else, but everyone's showing a little bit about themselves. As for this being sincere, I still have mixed feelings about that. He might have had a thing for skunks, but also recognizes it's a bit silly, noting at the very end, as well as how he reacts to things in general. But no matter what, he still created a pilot. And his friends are fully supportive of him. They voiced in it and even promoted it. That's more than I can say for a lot of people. In the end, I wish that he continued to draw even on some other account. Not in the sense of, oh, we need more Mike and Melissa, but just draw, just draw more. Though I can understand for him not returning under an art account, because, well, the entire internet bullied him. Though I wanted to end on one more note. Within the Church of Purple Skunk Discord, user Greymaster Anne claimed to have known Michael IRL. While we won't go over everything they said, this information should still be taken with a great assault. First and foremost, Michael was always more into creating films and music than art, as he had majored in film in college. Michael would eventually get over his loneliness, as he's currently married to a woman named Sarah. Michael has severe PTSD as well as severe anxiety. At first, upon seeing this wiki, it made him scared. But over time, he thought it was nice and enjoys the fanbase. And it only joined for a brief bit in 2021 and left the same year, concluding another chapter in the life of Michael. As for impact, I asked my audience what they thought about the pilot.
My animation professor is obsessed with Mike and Melissa. He made a stop-motion animation for the Mike and Melissa reanimated project, and he picked up quickly that Mike went to the same college as he did in Michigan.
Who are you?
I'm Melissa. Nice to meet you.
It's so close to being self-aware. It almost gets there. But then there's something else that happens that calls the entire thing into question. And I love it for that.
It is a marvelous concoction of early 2010s furry cringe and surreal self-awareness teetering on satire. It's like reading Sonic Chew for the first time, but way too short and less disturbingly personal. I would like to see this be a series on Adult Swim because it kind of fits the bill. Just being weird enough to catch my interest, but not too off-putting to disturb me too much.
We may never know the true intentions of Michael, and perhaps it's better that way. To let this project exist with no creator inputs is something I won't have any other way, because perhaps adding more vids could ruin the immersion. And if Michael watches this video, I hope he knows that I got the joke.
You realize that this is the cheesiest ending ever, don't you?
I don't give a fuck.
Me neither.
Whoa, you Mike and Melissa it to the end of this video. If you loved it, you should like and subscribe and leave a comment. Or check out one of these other videos, like that one, or even that one. But you can't stay here, you gotta leave.